Yes, I will do. Oh, sorry. I tried to unmute you and hey, our first live stream on this channel. Whoa, man, we broke it into Superman. Look at all these beautiful people here. Thank you.
Dr. Manzor, I am not surprised that you're here. A wonderful supporter of the show. Thank you, sir. Donna Hall, Wasp, Marianne.
Look at all these beautiful people. I've already started modding some people.
Nice.
Yeah. There's Cam Man. I was waiting for him. He gets a wrench too.
Oh, and not late. I like that. Very nice.
Man, that's awesome, man. Look at that. I love it. 15 beautiful souls over here. Gonna listen to us talk some Superman spoilers. If you don't want to listen or hear spoilers, please don't listen. Please don't listen. All right, that's it. Because I don't know how people can do a discussion without spoiling the film. I can't do that. I'm not one of those people that can talk a entire hour about a movie and not spoil it. But some people know how to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. But before we begin, thank you guys for being here. I'm trying to get these watch hours up on this this channel, so we talked about it on the early show today, on the political show, and I was saying, like, me and you are gonna have all kinds of fun over here. We're gonna go through television shows, maybe some classic shows, maybe some people were like, watch like one of those Survivor like type shows and like guess to see who's gonna get voted off next or something like that. I don't know. So I was like, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. But I'm going to say hi to everybody. Wasp, Marianne, Donna Hall, my man all the way from Hawaii. What time is it over there? Soundwave Superior's here. Dr. Manzor, Llama Pajamas. Bruce Wayne, he got modded up. Look at that. Can Man, he got modded up. Risk It is here. What's up, Risk It? Yeah, he gets a mod too. Well, we'll see. We'll see if we give anybody anything else. Marianne, let's see. Rachel Hill, I think I got everybody. Nick, my man Nick is here. Marco, you guys are just here hanging. Man, 30 people? That's incredible. Thank you guys so much. I was expecting like 6. Bunser says gonna wait for Superman to come out on HBO personally. Now I know like some people, there's no super chats or gifties or anything like that. Hey, Lulu's here. What's up? But if you feel like, hey, we want to support you guys, there is a super chat donation. It's the good old Streamlabs. And if you do that, be like, Jay, check Streamlabs. Let me know. And we'll go back over there. So I appreciate it. Also, spoilers. I'm going to keep reminding. I'm going to let the thing run. So if people are just joining in, they can understand that we're going to talk spoilers. So how you doing, man? You look like you get a little sun on your face. Enjoying the beach, man. Having a nice vacation.
Yeah. I Critical Drinker and I were shooting laser rays at each other. It was doppelgangers, men with giant heads and beards. But no, it's been great. Been hanging out, soaking up the sun. It's actually been really good weather here in Indiana, which I'm a Hoosier by heart. I live elsewhere now, but it's good to be up here. In a simpler place, but I'm just got out of the movie and I can't wait to talk about it. So but yeah, things are great, man.
I got out of the movie. I'm gonna go right into it. And me and Mo were talking before. I said I didn't really like this film. I actually enjoyed Jurassic Park more than Superman. I really did.
Whoa.
I really had a better time in Jurassic Park. Here's a couple things. Jurassic Park, my theater was full. Of course, I'm at the Universal Studios theater, so it's always a ton of people. The crowd was into it. They were cheering for the dinosaurs. They were clapping. They were laughing. All that stuff. The Superman movie was also packed with people wearing Superman shirts and stuff and capes. I thought that was cool. I really appreciate the fandom. Man, it was dead silent, man. All the way through. And that like, I think if they were laughing and cheering, it might have helped my enjoyment a little bit. But I just felt personally, and then we'll get into spoiling the whole thing. Personally, I just felt like I don't know, like it was like made for people that love TikTok because it was just like one scene scroll, next scene scroll, next scene scroll, next scene scroll, next scene, and a lot was happening in every single scene. So that was me, but Mo has a different take, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and so did the audience. The audience clapped at the end, and there was a lot of stuff that they really liked. All the women loved Crypto. I can tell you that. They were all about that. But yeah, they clapped at the end, straight up clap. Didn't wait. It wasn't like it was just like clap, 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 and people really enjoyed the movie, and so did I. I'm still trying to process it. I'm trying to get those thoughts down. I interviewed a few people out of the theater, just to kind of see what they really thought. And yeah, dude, the thumbnail ain't lying, folks. I liked it. Maybe not as much as I sold on the thumbnail.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
what you like.
No, but
I don't care about what, I'm glad we have a different opinion because it's going to make for a great discussion.
Yeah.
So,
and not like a first take different opinion. Like we actually have different opinions. We're not setting up to have different opinions. So
okay, so let's talk since you brought up Crypto. I thought Crypto was fine, but he got a little annoying at the end. And it's like, so Crypto is a dog in the film that has superpowers, that is untrained and just messes up everything he sees. So he's like an untrained dog throughout the entire film until it's important. Then he kind of like gets trained. Like he kind of like, like Superman's like, Crypto, go after the toy, when he needed him to kill those monsters. That's the only time I felt like he was actually doing anything. Before that, he was just causing problems. He was chewing on Superman. He was knocking Superman down. He was knocking everybody else down. So that was the dog. That was an untrained dog.
Which we find out why he's untrained at the end.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't mind. All right, listen, this is a big spoiler. I'm about to drop a big one. So the reason why Crypto is not trained, it's not really Superman's dog. It's actually Supergirl's dog. And she shows up at the very end to get her dog back. And let me tell you, Supergirl movie is next. And if it's anything like this one, man, the people that don't like Superman are not gonna. I feel like no one's gonna like Supergirl at all, because basically Superman goes, "Oh yeah, this is my cousin. She likes to go to red planets and party. That way she could taste the alcohol, something like that." That's what she shows up at the very end, and she's like, "Thanks for watching my dog," right? And she just act like a party girl, yeah, like a drunk college girl. Gets her dog, and Superman's like, yeah, she goes to a lot of red planets to party because she can't drink alcohol with a yellow sun. So I'm like, oh no, man, if that's the direction they're going with Supergirl.
Yeah. And yeah. And it looks like she's wearing like what's his name? Star-Lord's jacket. I don't know if you caught that. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, I was like, that's kind of like whatever, but it's actually the relationship with my sister. We're like a two completely. I don't even know. It's not like that though. Like I kind of understand, but I hope it's not like that the entire time. No, that she was annoying for the whatever minutes that she was in there.
She was in it for like a minute. The dog came and like jumped on her, and Superman's like, that's why the dog's not trained. So the entire film, Crypto is not Superman's dog. He's just babysitting it. That's all it was. He was babysitting it while his cousin Supergirl was out partying.
Yeah.
And so now he's gone. And Crypto leaves at the end. So that's Crypto for you.
Yeah, that was a ham-handed introduction if I'd ever seen one. I didn't like that part. I was kind of like,
oh, okay. Wow. Now that you're thinking about it.
Well, I can look, his dad's alive in the movie. Spoiler. He's still alive. And, Superman actually wants to save everybody's life, including the kaiju.
Yeah.
So I'm just
he's
saying,
very much
jumping around.
He's very much Superman in Superman 4, Christopher Reeves. The search for peace. Like,
dude, they used the strain of. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No, go ahead.
They pulled some stuff from the Quest for Peace. Yes, when he said, okay, wait. we'll wait till we get into it. But that one I was just like, oh my goodness, they're like pulling from the older movies. But so okay. No, I want to wait until we talk about Ultraman and stuff like that because I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
Even though I just kind of gave it away. All right. So,
all right. So here's all right. We're going to start from the beginning.
Yes, let's do that.
I found it very poetic. The very beginning of the film, James Gunn was like, 3 billion years ago, this happened. And then it went 3 million years ago, this happened. So it's like showing this, I guess the Arctic, and it's just giving you something to read. And it's like 3 million years ago, this happened. 3,000 years ago, this happened. 300 years ago, this happened. 3 years ago, this basically like doing a timeline of like meta-humans visited Earth and then Superman visited the Earth. And like you're reading all this and they're like 3 days ago, Superman finally got beat up for the first time.
3 minutes ago.
Or 3 minutes ago. That's what he was doing threes, like 3,300,000 or something like that. And it's like, and then at 3 minutes ago, it says Superman got beat up for the first time. So, and then you see him fall into the sky like a comet. And that is the scene that everyone's seen on the spoilers where he's all beat up and he whistles for Crypto. He's just sitting there, whistling for Crypto to take him home. So that was that scene.
Which, by the way, they added in the snow moving when he whistled. That wasn't in the trailer. So I'm glad they fixed that. But yeah,
Crypto takes him home, and then you meet the robots, and he calls them by number. He goes, "What's up, number 4, number 5?" And I don't know. That's the only important because he gives them a real name later because they're like, the robots are like, "I wish you would give me a real name," even though the entire film they're like, "I don't know why you're talking to me. We don't feel pain. We have no emotions. We don't care." But then they're like, "I wish you would give us a real name, like Pinocchio. Today I'm a real boy."
Dude, they blew it out of the water 10 seconds after they said it. They said, "We don't care." Da, da, da. And then number 12 goes, "Ooh, he looked at me." And I'm like, okay, what is it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, we didn't even let that one rest, you know?
Yeah. So then they put him in a chair and he gets like the super sunlight, which you saw in the spoilers, and he like recharges and he's like, "Sir, you're only at 80%. He's like, "I got to get back there and fight," which we find out is Ultraman in a costume.
Yes.
Correct.
The hammer of,
yeah,
I can't even remember the name, Boldovia or something like that. Yeah.
So he gets beat up again. The guy just takes him to town and just like annihilates him. So, all right. So here's the whole plot. Here's the plot. Superman decided to interfere in a war between two countries, and he stopped one country from entering a weaker country. And he took the leader of that country and he threatened him. You don't see this, you just hear it. And he threatened him and like, "Don't you ever invade that country again or bad things will happen to you," right? Basically what happened. So the international community's mad at him. And this is why Lex Luthor is mad at Superman. Because he's interfering in government affairs. He's interfering in all these things. Like, does he just have the power to do whatever he wants? Like, what's his problem? We need to stop him. So Lex goes to the government and says, "I've created a task force that can kill Superman or keep him imprisoned because he's obviously going against international sanctions." And I need a government contract. And I've got this task force that could keep Superman at bay. So the government's kind of like, "I don't know about that. He didn't really do anything that wrong, but they're interested." So that's the movie right there. Like that's what's going on. That's what's going on here. So that's why Lex Luthor's mad at him, and he's trying to find out everything that he can to discredit Superman's name, because if he can make Superman look like the bad guy, then he'll get the government contract. That's the whole thing. So it's true, the rumors are true. He's got 1,000 monkeys tweeting hashtag super, says a bad word, like 1,000 monkeys in like some lab constantly tweeting negative stuff about Superman. So that's true. starting hashtags to cancel him, getting news media to do all these things. So then he finds the Fortress of Solitude, and I didn't like this either. He finds the Fortress of Solitude and finds all the old recordings of Superman's real parents, his real parents, and he gets them translated. And his father, Superman's real dad, they translated something that he said to his son and said, why don't you take over Earth and have as many wives as possible and just rule the whole, like, he goes like, Earthlings are weakling and you can rule the whole Earth and have as many wives as you want. That's what what Superman's real dad wanted him to do on Earth. So Lex Luthor finds that, takes the recording, and goes on every major news station and goes, this is why Superman's really here. He wants to take over. He wants to take over the Earth.
I would Giggity beat me to it. So Superman is muscle. No, it was okay.
So he uses social media, regular media to make Superman the bad guy. Because of course, people are dumb. As soon as they hear a recording of his dad, everybody immediately believes it, right? Which is stupid, I think. They never ask Superman's opinion. They just immediately believe, oh, he's going to take over the Earth, even though he's done tons of good stuff. I didn't like that. I didn't like that his dad did that. I thought that was a terrible play on his father, his real dad.
As far as there's got to be some precedence in the comics. I mean, not that there was for Man of Steel when Pa Kent got eaten by a tornado willingly. Anyways, no, it was basically like it's a interesting plot device that I don't think really belonged in Superman. That makes any sense? Like, it's just like I like what that is. Is that supposed to be Jor-El? Jor-El is supposed to be the moral center of Krypton that is supposed to be saving Krypton. And I think that he just it was weird it was Bradley Cooper because it was just a hologram that repeated. He was probably on set for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
You were expecting him to be like Russell Crowe, where he's like, hello, you know, he's just, it's a recording of him and some girl that looks like Lady Gaga. I think that he was just like that was kind of odd. I know I'm trying to explain it away. I'm trying to think.
He's trying to say that he likes the film, guys. That's what he's trying to say. And now that we talk about it,
what's the biggest sin? What's the biggest sin? What's the biggest sin? Is it Jor-El and I can never remember the mom's name. I should be better about that. Jor-El ended up being evil from a completely different planet that has different values and things like that. Or Pa Kent and Man of Steel just dying willingly. Because that was jarring. Like, this was just like, okay, that's kind of a plot device. And as somebody who loved the comics and loved all the old movies, I kind of had a problem with it. But the message that was attached to it was a good message, which is, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of upbringing, you know, like, it doesn't matter what, what if your birth parents aren't here and they were evil, it doesn't mean you are. You know, the sins of the father are not to be visited upon the son, which is what they were trying to do. Now, does it belong to Superman? I don't know. I need to process this one further. I didn't think that it was necessary to do that. They could have just went the AI route, especially with that hitch in the middle where it goes, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, and get a harem and all that stuff. And you know, they should have, but they explained it out of the way so much. Like, no, it's totally linguistics not going to be wrong. Legal experts don't lie. And I'm like, have you seen any trials? They obviously lie and bullshit. I'll lie. Excuse my French.
No.
When Mr. Terrific said that, you know, like, did you watch the Johnny Depp trial, the Rittenhouse trial? They can
no, even
really
Mr.
dance around. Yeah,
the recording is real. The translation is correct. Your parents wanted you to take over Earth and have lots of wives, and Superman is crushed. Eric K for $5 donation says, justice for Jay, he shall not be replaced. Oh, thank you. Look at that. My first Stream Labs donation.
Nice.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you.
And we have almost 60 people in here, which is
That's
amazing.
crazy. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that's the plot. And how Lex Luthor was able to get to the Fortress of Solitude, he sent out some kind of monster to like attack the city to keep Superman occupied. And that's when you get your first appearance of the Green Lantern, Hawk Girl. Is that her name? Hawk Tua Girl?
Hawk.
Yeah. And Mr. Terrific. So they all show up and help him defeat this giant Godzilla. And the whole time Superman's like, don't kill him. Please don't kill him. We can keep him alive and put him in a zoo or something like that. Don't kill him. They end up killing him. And
pretty awfully, by the way. We get to see it. Kind of.
Yeah, they throw bombs in his stomach and he just blows up.
Yeah, indigestion. Yes.
What are they called again? The Justice
Gang.
The Justice Gang. That's the name of their group. And that's because Guy Gardner wants to be called that. He's kind of a turd in there too, because
I like that though, because Nathan Fillion has so much charisma. He's allowed to get away with a lot, and I kind of enjoyed his character.
Look at that. We got Miss Criticless here in the chat. Hello. Snow Dub is here. Rachel Hill. C&D Designs. I see you guys showing up. Thank you. Thank you. People complaining about the wrench. I just dumped a bunch of them. Sorry, y'all. If you need a wrench, like, let me know later. It's nothing personal. You know, I don't really take it that seriously. I just want a couple people in here to like drop links if we need it, basically. But yeah, so you get your first look at the Justice Gang. Green Lantern, like when he does his Green Lantern thing, like makes Green Lantern middle fingers and like flicks tanks with them and stuff like that. He thinks he could take on Superman, talks a lot of trash.
That's good, though. I liked it.
Hawk Girl is a little man, when she's like fighting and she's just like I was like, man, that's a little much, because when she's not fighting, she's just like lounging on the couch chewing gum, you know, like reading a book or whatever, like a magazine, just like whatever. So kind of weird.
Okay, she did have a cool scene though, and I know people might disagree, but I think it was a cool scene. Is where the president of I can't remember.
Yeah, the president guy.
Yeah, he's like, you would never do that. You were like Superman, and she's like,
yeah,
and she does that, and then
I'm not Superman. Yeah,
and then you see
before
him go,
that, she's like screaming at him. It's just, it's kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think she was as bad as what people said. I think she was all right. She wasn't overbearing. The Justice Gang wasn't too much in the movie. They were barely in it. Like it was the kaiju, and then like them talking. It was, how long would you think they were in the movie for? Like maybe 10 minutes, except for Mr. Terrific.
Maybe 15 at the end. They were in the war scene at the end. But yeah, they each had like one scene, and that was kind of it. So like a fight, like that's when the hot girl dropped the president guy and all that. That was like her scene, you know. But getting back to the story, so now we have, and if from the teaser trailer, if you guys remember the teaser trailer where Lois Lane is interviewing Superman and he's screaming at her and stuff, this is how that happened. So they're already dating. She already knows that Clark Kent is Superman. Clark Kent's in the film maybe 5 minutes. Clark Kent is like never in the film.
Oh, yeah.
So he's in it for like every scene in the teaser trailers, that's Clark Kent, the whole film. That's all you see him. So they've already been together. And Superman's had a day. He's been beat up, all kinds of stuff. So he shows up at Lois Lane's home and he's cooking her dinner. And she's like, you know, you never let me interview. They had a little back and forth. He goes, what? I'll let you interview Superman now. So they're like, you know, then he gets into like character Superman and they're just sitting in there. And she upsets him with her line of questioning. And he's finally like, you can't say that to me. Like, you can't have me answer that. So they got into like an argument. And Lois Lane's like, I knew this relationship would never work. And he gets mad and he walks off. I was like.
And then she gets mad again, which is on point for pissing off your girlfriend or your wife. So she has, That I don't know, man. I know people have a lot of problems with it. I think it got overplayed because it was out of context in clips that they played. But I thought it was okay. The fact that he, as a reporter, doesn't know proper reporting, like on the record, off the record, and they had to like go to that joke like 5 times. Look, guys, all these things in summation are not worse than Pa Kent getting eaten by a tornado. This is the context of what I'm saying here. All of those are
No, you're
not
comparing
story.
it to Man of Steel, which you shouldn't because it's completely different films.
It is true, but I'm saying like
So
there are unforgivable sins in
I got you.
movies. Yeah, that are like, okay, we've seen Pa Kent be alive for grown up Superman in the TV series with Dean Cain, which was amazing. I love that series. You can do that. You can do other things, but I'm just saying, like him being kind of petulant and stuff like that, and trying to like being like a yokel, like just trusts everybody. They kind of play that. Like I kind of like that. This is obviously a young Superman. Like he quit being Superboy yesterday, is what it felt like. Like he just got the Metropolis, and he just, which, okay, he's pretty young looking, but you know, it's. I don't think I don't think there's any plot devices in the movie that are so unforgivable that are like wow, like you just like you got hit in the chest. Like there's ones where you're just like, wait, what? You know, like the end of the the Lister cut, the original cut of Superman 2, you're like the ending, you're like, why is he throwing saran wrap badge?
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's ones that are so like take you out of the action.
That's why I'm saying like it wasn't. I didn't walk out like angry or anything. I was just like they made it for a certain demographic, in my opinion. They made it completely different than what I would want to see in a Superman film. I described it as a TikTok watch because it just went to one scene to the next. So like quickly, they crammed a lot in. And you're just kind of running. And like they introduce characters and you're just like, well, this is this guy. Well, how did he get there? Yeah, we don't know. He's just there. It's just convenient, right? So Superman, they find out they think Superman's gonna take over the earth and have a lot of wives, right? So what does he do? Good guy Superman, I'm gonna turn myself in. So he goes and turns himself in. Apparently, I guess Lex Luthor's contract was signed because he has his little planet safety force. He turns himself in, and then you discover that Lex Luthor has created another world within a world with these portals, so that he's got this whole inner world thing going on here.
Pocket universe.
Yeah, they call it a pocket universe. That's correct. So he takes Superman in and puts him in a cell with a guy that can transform to any element that he thinks about. So there's a guy sitting there and he asks him to transform into kryptonite, which he does. And so Superman's about to die in the cell. And the reason why that guy is in the cell with Superman is because Lex Luthor has his son, another weird green alien.
That was like, I think it was creepy.
And it's like, if you don't do what I say, like something will happen to your son. So stay as kryptonite to keep Superman at bay, and we'll keep him locked up. But also in the jail cells were Lex Luthor's ex-girlfriends, ex-employees, other people I don't even know. Crypto is in one of the cells. They put Crypto in a cell, and they kept showing him movies of squirrels where he just doesn't stop running in air at squirrels to tire him out.
They had implants in his brain to like make it think he was actually
something
having
like
it.
that.
That was kind of a lot of people in the theater were like, oh, ooh, like they didn't like that at all. Because, okay, I think it's time to talk about Lex Luthor.
Sure.
I thought Nicholas Hoult, whether you like the movie or not, I'm putting words in people's mouth. I thought he did a great job because I thought he came off as incredibly intelligent. Just, I hate when they dance on like, oh, he might be evil with his intent. No, Lex Luthor in this movie is classic comic book, irredeemably evil, and he's wonderful. And the way he talks and the way his veins on his head pop out when he gets so pissed talking about Superman is like, say what you want about the movie. Like, if you're going to discount Nicholas Holt's,
he was great as Lex Luthor. I'll give you that.
Amazing. The best Lex Luthor we've had since Gene Hackman.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Since
I wasn't a big.
I thought Kevin Spacey was okay as Lex Luthor.
I thought the writing held him back. I think he could have been better, but I think this was a much more fleshed out version of Lex Luthor that I liked a lot. I was afraid he's going to come off as too young sounding and too young looking. He didn't in the movie.
No, he
honestly.
did good. He did good as Lex
Yeah.
Luthor.
Mm-hmm. And I thought he was great. And spoiler, Lex Luthor and the roulette game that you play over in Russia with the homeboy that sells the falafels. That was like everybody in theaters like, what? Whoa! Like, what just happened?
Yeah. So now that Superman's in jail, Lex is trying to get information from him, and he brings people that he knows or that he thinks that he knows. And one of them was a guy that talked to him when he was getting beat up, selling food on the street corner. And Lex brings him into the jail cell. What is he asking Superman at this point? He was asking about something. And so Luthor puts one bullet in a revolver, spins it, and was like, if you don't give me the answer, I'm going to pull the trigger. So the first time he pulls the trigger, nothing happens. Superman's like, no, I don't know him. And then he shoots the guy and kills him in the head. And Lex Luthor goes, I thought this would have lasted a little bit longer. Oh, well. And he goes, I'm going to go back and get somebody else that you care about.
And he's there with the president of the country that he's trying to like get to invade the other country. They're kind of hard to pronounce, but he does, and they're like, ha ha ha. And Metamorpho is like, what the heck? And the guy that's got but that scene I thought that was shocking because I thought they were just gonna keep doing it and he was gonna be like, oh no, and the guy Ali is his last name, I guess. I can't remember his first name, but he's just like, I don't have a family, don't worry about it. Like he was being very strong in the face of he's being very heroic, like he was at the beginning. So he was an actual hero, which I kind of like how he was doing that. Like, you saved me before. Thank you very much. Like, you're just an awesome person. And the fact that they just pop like that's in watching Superman like react to that in such a way, I kind of like that. Like, because they would always dance around like, I love people, I save people, but it's like that's what replaces the Pa Kent story arc in this movie is the fact that the people he loves, like we just saw one that he appreciated and thought was a good person just get popped, so instead of Pa Kent dying with a heart attack, he has all these people that he's in a helpless position and he can't do anything. So they replaced that with people that basically know that Lex is looking for anybody. If you're pulling the guy that sells falafels outside of the street, like they scanned his face earlier in the movie, he's really getting desperate, which I kind of like that part about Lex Luthor too. But the thing about that is like it replaces beats in the story that aren't present because Pa Kent isn't alive. In other stories where he can't save him because of a heart attack. Well, he can't save him because he's too weak. So in that, I thought they did a really good job with that. It's a bit brutal for a PG-13 Superman movie, but it's also like kind of the more higher stakes Superman from the comics that I like. I don't know. I thought that was a pretty good scene. I thought it really established Lex Luthor as a horrible person.
Oh, when he killed the guy?
When he does Russian, he does.
Yeah.
Russian
So you like murder? All right, we got it. The guy that's turned into kryptonite has like a heart. Like he starts crying because he's like, "Oh my gosh, he killed that innocent man." He looks at Superman and says, "Can you get me out of here and save my son?" And Superman's like, "Yeah." Superman's like dead on the ground, almost live. So then the guy changes into like something of the sun to give him some power. So he turns into the sun. Superman kind of wakes up and breaks the glass. The scene that you see him in that box and he in the trailer and he breaks the glass, saves the sun, and they're trying to get out of there. Now, all of this is going on. Lois goes and meets with Guy Gardner and Hawk and Mr. Fantastic and is like, you got to help Superman. I don't know where he is. He's disappeared. And the other two could care less. But Mr. Fantastic's like, yeah, I think you're right. We should help him. And they trace his steps that go into some weird portal. They're like, what the heck is this portal? So Mr. Fantastic shows up and he has a little scene where he beats up everybody. And he's just like, the biggest problem, the other issue I have with this film is that everybody walks like there's nothing happening around them. Lex Luthor did that in the Fortress of Solitude while swords and everything was flying around his face. He was just like walking like I'm the what did I say? Mr. Fantastic? Sorry, Mr. Terrific. Gosh. I thought Mo was gonna correct me.
No, you said I like murders, so I was just gonna let you hang on that
Okay,
one,
you're just
but
letting it go.
yeah.
Mr. Terrific. My bad. I got like Fantastic Four on the brain coming up next. But Mr. Terrific does the same thing. Like everybody's gonna fight him, and he's like, "I'm Mr. Terrific," and he just walks, and all his little gizmos just beats everybody up. And then he finds the portal, so he goes into the portal, and he's like, "All right, we got to rescue Superman out of here." Superman's already broken out of jail. He's saved Crypto. He's got this kid's little alien baby, and then this shapeshifter is turning into all kinds of things to defeat the police that are trying to keep him in there. Eventually there's a scene. Superman is just beat up in this whole film. Like he has like 25% of his power for the majority of this film. Mr. Terrific finds him, Crypto, all of them, and he's like, all right, let's see if we can get them through the portal. The portal is closing. They only have like 5 seconds. Long story short, he gets them all through the portal, and Crypto chews up all of Mr. Terrific's toy, his little globes that he uses. So you have to remember that scene because that comes back later. He thinks it's a toy. So then they drop off Superman, and you meet the Kents. Now, I thought for sure they were going to make the Kents stupid hick people, and that was going to be the end of them, and that would have made me angry. But they saved them at the end, in my opinion. The first time you meet the Kents, they call Clark, and the mom's got the phone on the table, and they try to play like this meme, like she's just really old and doesn't know how to use a cell phone. She's like, "Hey, Clark, just calling to check on you." Can't, like, she's screaming into the speakerphone, and he's like, "Oh, I can hear you, Mom." And like, Dad's like, "Come visit, don't be a stranger." And he goes, "Your father says come visit." And he's like, "I heard him, Mom." It's like, oh no, don't do this to the Kent. Like, don't make them. Like, that was the Kents are a crucial point in Superman's life that give him character on why he is the way he is. It's like both. It's like his real dad and his adopted dad.
It's even more crucial in this movie than it is in any other Superman movie because of how they portray
Yeah. So then I'm like, oh no, don't do that. But they drop him off. He's like sick. He's got kryptonite poisoning, and so Pa and Ma Kent, they take care of him, and then you discover another convenient plot twist that Jimmy Olsen has a girl that is in love with him who happens to be the girlfriend of Lex Luthor. All right.
You're underselling it, Jay. Jimmy Olsen is banging Miss Tessmacher. That's who that is, by the way. That's
and he doesn't even like her.
No, she's like
but she's like secretly texting him like on the down low and feeding him information about Lex Luthor. She goes, "Give me a little information about Lex Luthor, and then I'll meet you, for a weekend." Like, it's weird. Okay. Miss Tessmacher, is that her name in the film? Is that who that is?
Eve Tessmacher is the name of the So it's supposed to be Miss Tessmacher. Yeah.
The whole film, she's very annoying, but it's her character. And I was okay with that character. She was taking selfies the entire thing. Like the town's burning up, and she's doing the TikTok pose, like there's a monster over here. She runs up to it and does a TikTok pose, and she's like posing like the girls do on Instagram or whatever. And so she's taking tons of those pictures, right? So finally, Lex Luthor discovers that Superman has escaped. Okay? So he's mad. He's yelling at everybody. He yells at his girlfriend, Miss Tessmacher, "Get out of the room." So she gets mad that she get yelled at. So she calls Jimmy Olsen and is like, "I'm going to give you everything I have on him, and I don't care about him, and blah, blah, blah. He yelled at me." So she's sending him stuff, but she gets caught doing it. Okay, whatever. So all she sends Jimmy Olsen was a bunch of selfies, but in the selfies were the secret plans of Lex Luthor. The secret plans of Lex Luthor was to start a war between two companies because he's selling arms to a certain company. He made like $80 billion selling missiles to one company. He wants this country, or one country, he wants this country to take over this other country so they can make him the dictator of that country. Which means absolutely, to me, it makes no sense. You're like one of the richest people in the world. You have all this power, you got government contracts. Why in the world would you want to be like the ruler of a country that has nothing for you, like a desert country? You remember that teaser trailer, guys, when you see that little kid and he's holding up the flag, the little ripped Superman? That's the country. So Lex sold missiles to a country at very cheap prices to take over another country, so eventually he could be the president of that country. That is the whole secret motivation, and that's why he's got to stop Superman, because he doesn't want Superman to interfere with him taking over a country. That I don't get. Like, that to me, I was like, that makes no sense. What is the point?
They did explain it, that there's like that it's like strategic. There's petroleum deposits or something like that. They kind of do it offhand. Like Lois Lane's tried, like they use it through exposition to kind of explain it. But I could see that. It's Lex Luthor. What is every man in power
Money and
want?
power. I got you.
They want more power. I mean, is the saying. They want, what does every man in power want? More power. So, it makes sense. It's a bit to say, okay, the president of the other country, like, okay, I like the movie. It doesn't mean I love the movie. It doesn't mean I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. The president of the country having the transporter device in his office was a bit weird. And Lex Luthor bringing him donuts. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I think it seems like his motivation was he just hates Superman because the attention wasn't on Lex Luthor, which is totally Lex Luthor. He would be so petty that he would just
he's mad at Superman because Superman stopped the first invasion. That's why he wants to kill Superman, because the first invasion, that's the whole thing. When you figure out that Lex wanted this war to happen and Superman stopped the first war, that's when he started this online cancel thing, canceled him with all those monkeys, got the media to cancel him, developed a superhuman in Ultraman that could beat Superman, sort of. And he was angry because once he gets Superman out of the way, he start the war back up again. Like, that was the whole, that's what I saw. That's what I took away.
Oh yeah, no, there was definitely that, but
you can tell me different. Like, you don't have to agree with me. You can say,
no,
Jay, no, that's not what happened.
And he talks about envy. He's like, I live off envy. I get a little burning sensation of vomit in my throat when I hear Socrates, and like, there's so many good like soliloquies.
No, Lex was great. That we agree.
Lex was great, but I'm saying, like, you can tell he's just like, I don't care. I just want to be the most important thing, and Superman is ruining it for me. I think part of that is he's getting in the way of his plans of a country, which is a classic trope of superhero movies. But he just generally hates Superman because he doesn't like that he just kind of steals his thunder right away. Like 3 years ago, he's just like, hey, I'm Superman, everybody loves me, he's just trying to get him out of the way because he hates him. He makes Lex look like Lex doesn't get the attention that he wants. Like, it's just it's a basal thing. It's like, I'm the most popular person on the planet. I do all this stuff. I develop all these things for all these countries. I'm the head of Luthor Corps, and the country is just that's what I got from the story in the exposition. Was I thought that he was basically like mad because Superman is just stealing his thunder. He's like kind of like the Joker in Batman '89. He just didn't like Batman because Batman kept.
That's probably part of it, yeah.
Yeah, and it just, because I felt like they were going that way later in the movie, which is like, I'm just tired of Superman stealing my thunder. I am the top dog, and he's trying to out alpha Superman, which he initially does with the whole conflict in the office where Superman says, "Where's the dog?"
That was a setup. Like, yeah, he stole Superman's dog, which is not his dog, to get Superman to lose his temper while he's being recorded for TikTok, so that they could put that all over social media and see Superman loses his temper. So that was that whole scene. Where's the dog? Where Martha? Why did you say that name?
It really was like that, but it's in those scenes where it was Lex and Superman where once again Nicholas Hoult really just saves it. Like he makes it believable.
He was
Like,
good because under his
yeah.
breath, he triggered him again while he was drinking coffee. So, you know. So now that the plot has been revealed, now that they've discovered this, Lex has this plan to keep Superman occupied while he lets loose war. So he calls the leader of the other country and is like, go ahead and attack this other country. Go ahead. Let's just go to war. And then he decides to open up, what did he call it again? The other universe.
Pocket universe.
The pocket universe. He opens up this portal and it turns into like a black hole, right? Is that the best way to say it?
So that's kind of like the basic part. But what happens is the portal that Mr. Terrific and Lois Lane popped out of earlier, trying to save Superman and the weird alien baby and Crypto and all that stuff. Because he knew it was damaged and overused, he opened it back up because he knew it would create a rift.
Yeah.
So he created a rift that was opening up a universe that was essentially splitting the Earth around the cities in half, like in a straight line. So
yeah, so it was like, just imagine like a big rip in the Earth and it's being sucked into like a black hole. That's the best way
pretty
I can
much.
describe it.
Yeah.
So Mr. Terrific is like, oh my gosh, I can't stop it. Like, and he's like calling Superman. He's like, hey, we need you here right now. Now, this whole time, Superman is at his adopted parents at the Kent's farm in Kansas. And I got to give him that because I thought for sure they were going to make the Kents dumb. But now we finally got to see like his dad, you know, his adopted dad, Mr. Kent, and how he's proud of him and gives him this speech that was really, I love that part. I was like, okay, there's redemption there, because if they had made his real dad a jerk and his Earth dad just a retard, I'm like, I would have just been aggravated. Then it's like, now we're dealing with Superman that's got daddy issues, right? Like that's what I was like, please don't let that happen. No, the Kents were great. They were ready to, they helped them. Mama Kent cleaned his uniform and he's like, I know you got to go, so off you go. So Superman gets in his costume, his little Superman, and takes off to figure out how to stop the rift. But when he gets there, Ultraman is waiting for him and Lex Luthor. So he starts to fight with them. And then the big reveal. He's fighting with Ultraman and that girl. What is her name?
Engineer. They call her Engineer.
Yeah, the engineer that can, which is a very unique character. The goal was to get Superman down, and the engineer would turn into like liquid metal, right? And fill his lungs so he can't breathe and die. That was the goal. That's how they were going to kill him. Like she can contort into like, right? Is that
she
correct?
Can turn into anything basically. She's full of nanites, which basically is like liquid metal from the T-1000.
Yeah.
Which he can, but she's like more powerful because she can do rockets, she can do guns.
She could turn into swords and shoot them off and everything like that.
She's like T from the horrible movie Genesis 3000, where they can do like, you know, like the later versions where they tried to make them more powerful. She was super powerful and pretty smart. Yeah. But they didn't overdo it. They didn't make, you know, this is one where they have a female villain or, you know, hero, whatever. Female villain. She's not a hero. Female villain where it actually makes sense why she's strong. Because
it wasn't woke or anything like that.
No, it wasn't. And it actually did a good job.
I give you that.
That part was, that was kind of like, whoa. I kind of thought that was,
they get Superman on the ground. And because he hasn't been 100% like this entire film. He's just been beat up this whole every time he takes a deep breath, he gets beat up again. So he's not like at 100%. So Ultraman knocks him to the ground, knocks him silly, and she turns into liquid metal and just goes into his lungs. And they're all like, oh, he's going to die soon because he can't breathe. Superman just, with his face covered, his mouth covered, can't breathe, just flies as high as he can into outer space. And then it looks like he's about to pass out. And then he falls back down like a comet with Ultraman holding on and the engineer holding on. And she's just like, I can't hold on. I'm going to die. You know, I got to so she's got to let go and kind of like release herself from his lungs, and they hit the ground. And it's like all of them were knocked unconscious. It seemed like all of them were knocked out. Superman is alive. He pulls whatever left of her out, takes a deep breath, and in comes Ultraman, and they fight. Ultraman takes off his mask, and who is it? It's Superman. It's a clone of Superman that looks just like him with longer hair.
Yeah, it looks like Super Encino Man.
Yeah. And the real Superman is like, oh, I see what you did. You cloned me. And he's like, yeah, we finally found a piece of your hair that fell out on some fight. So we were able to clone you. So he goes, and then Lex goes, Ultraman is more stupider than you, but he's stronger. So the whole time when Ultraman is fighting Superman, it's like a video game, right? You got people with controllers that are like, I don't know if they're kind of controlling him. They're like 10-8-6, right? And then that's the move he does. 10-8-6 is like punch, uppercut, dodge, right? And so they're like giving him all, they got these people with controllers and they're giving them all these commands. They're like 96A. And he's like, 96A is punch to the right. And
so literally what they're doing is
dodge.
So the people are controlling the cameras, the surrounding Superman, in these fights, so that he can see the fight. But Lex Luthor is literally LARPing. He's like 13L, and he's like, this means throw or punch. 1A is punching Superman in the face, which I thought was a good touch. He goes 1A, 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 like And I didn't think, once again, Nicholas Hoult sells it. He seems like Lex Luthor. He's so angry. He wants to, literally feels like he's in the ring trying, like with him, beating him up. So
yeah, because Ultraman's got a microphone, so Lex can talk to Superman on his chest, and Ultraman's just fighting him, like doing whatever commands they say. It's just like, it's like 46B, hut, and like, just beating up Superman. And so finally, they fell into the rift that's like ripping through Metropolis. You got to remember, there's like a black hole that's just like consuming the city, or like ripping it in two. They fall into the black hole, and Ultraman looks up, and Superman just barely like does a little switcheroo and throws him while a big building hits him and takes him off into the black hole, and he's gone. And Superman finally can take a breath. Mr. Fantastic's like, get up, man, no time for resting. And you have that dumb line. He's like, I'm not resting.
Yeah, I'm just taking a break. Yeah, Mr. Terrific, by the way. But yeah, I love how they worked in Lethal Weapon 2 into there. Superman dislocated his shoulder. So that he could,
he had to put it back into socket. That's right.
Yeah, but that was, I'm all right with that. That was kind of a manly move right there. That was all right. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. So then we get back to the war. And Superman's like telling Lex, he's like, I called in some friends to stop the war. And then it's Green Lantern and Hawk Girl and that guy that could change into any element.
Metamorpho.
What's his name?
Metamorpho.
Yeah. He looked like Drax from Marvel, to be honest with you. His face and everything. So they all show up and they stop the war, and they end up killing the Hawk Girl kills the president that started the war. And so the war is over. So now you've got the Daily Planet. They released the article of, this plot that Lex Luthor wants to start a war, that he lied, that he did this and everything. They had all the information on what they were trying to do, why he was selling arms to this other country. So they released that. Superman shows up, and I guess they have a little altercation, and Lex is trying to run through the portal. Mr. Terrific shows up and gets on the computer and stops the rift, because they had the code to stop the rift in Lex's little computer base, I guess. And Superman stops Lex from going in there, or actually it was Crypto, right? And that's pretty much it. Lex Luthor gets arrested. Otis is race swapped, by the way.
Otis
is the big black guy. They call him Otis twice in the
No
film.
way. I didn't.
Yeah, yeah, that's Otis. That was Otis. So, so he's in there. Lex Luthor gets arrested, and they got to rebuild. And Superman sees Lois Lane, and he's like, "Hey, would you like to do an interview now?" They go to a room and they make out.
That was a pretty good shot scene. I like that scene. And my
Yeah,
wife loved that scene.
I'm just getting through the film. They make out, and then Superman goes back to the Fortress of Solitude. The robots have been rebuilt. Supergirl shows up to get her dog. She's just a party drunk college girl. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, and we had Sean Gunn in there for about 5 seconds. It was a pretty funny line. A lot of people laughed at it. There's
he did a political take,
but it was it was what it wasn't. He's like, now there's one thing liberals and conservatives can agree on. Lex Luthor is an asshole. Like, I thought that was an okay line. It wasn't over the top, but
what? There's no, in my opinion, Deadpool and Wolverine it's not even close. I'd go see Deadpool and Wolverine in the theaters any day over Superman. But to be clear, I don't think this movie was woke whatsoever. I think it was more Marvel comedy, and the jokes in my theater, it didn't land. Like, they had a serious moment and then they kind of had a joke, and it was like, it's like the jokes were placed in the wrong part. Like, they just didn't land that well. So for me anyway, like, they tried to, they was like serious, and they tried to do something a little funny, and it just was kind of like, that wasn't the right place for the joke, but it was like bad timing. But it wasn't woke at all. It just, for me, it was just very crammed. You didn't get a chance to breathe. And when I think of Superman, again, this is just my opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. I think of, Superman, truth, justice, the American way, all that stuff. To me, it just seemed like a TikTok film. That's all. So you're making the case to see it. I mean, I gave it a 5 out of 10. So
yeah, okay. So I like how they portrayed Superman. I know he gets beat up a lot, but it creates more stakes in the movie, and they don't do it crazily. Like, they kind of
he almost died like twice.
I know, but he also had.
So how is that not
kryptonite.
Crazy that Superman almost died twice?
I'm just hey, in the original, and I love the Donner. I love 1978 Superman so much, but he almost dies with a necklace. Around his, and he can't. He almost dies because he won't lie. He has to promise Miss Tessmacher, "You'll save my mom in Camden, New Jersey," or something like that. And he almost dies just in a pool, in a subway. So you can kind of explain that away. Okay, fine, but I think it kind of, the way that they did that, they created stakes, and towards the end, you really saw him like, okay, now we're starting to figure this out. Now I'm starting to really get my powers, because I've really fought some crazy battles, and he just goes it just beats the crap out of everybody. There was one part where, I thought, it's
the fighting scenes I didn't think were like Superman great. Only when he fought people way underpowered. When he fought all the humans and he just used his I-beam and just roasted them all. Okay, that's cool. Those people were way underpowered. There's a scene in the film where he saves that little girl that's in the teaser trailer, and then he immediately goes and saves a squirrel from being stepped on. So it's like, that's the kind of Superman that they're trying to portray here. Like, very respect all human life. At the very end of the film, Lex Luthor calls him, "You're an alien," and he gives a speech. "You're wrong. I'm not an alien. I get sad just like you do. I make mistakes like you do. Okay, I'm doing my best, which makes me human. And I wish people would understand that this is how humans are." It's like, it was the speech to be like, be kind to everybody, because we're all humans and we all make mistakes. And we're all like, all right, there's the speech. Right? I mean, correct me, man. Tell me
I didn't think it was. Okay. I didn't think. It doesn't matter. in the beats of the movie, and I know people in the comments are like, "Boo!"
No,
okay,
no,
fine.
man. Don't worry. Like,
No, no, that's
I
fine.
respect
I
your
agree
opinion.
with you. No, and I respect everybody else's opinion. There's certain parts like the way that it kind of came off as like an old comic book. There's great parts about the movie, and I think it works coming together. I think the people in the secret meeting room with Lex was kind of like didn't need to be there. You could just infer that. We didn't need all those people meeting like, hey, the metahumans are in charge now. There was like a little bit of exposition that didn't make any sense in the movie. It didn't need to be there. You didn't need Jor-El to be evil. It didn't move the story along at all. You could have put something else there. It kind of makes Superman's, morality, but that's not something that was ever in question. I thought overall, it was a good movie. There are some problems with it. I would say it's like a 7.58 out of 10. I thought it was good. If you look at it for what it is, a fun comic book movie. Yeah, no, and I think they don't it had an overall good message. It had a lot of good save scenes by Superman. I don't think they butchered the theme as much as everybody else says they did. I know there's guitar in it, but it's not like crazy. When Superman is saving things and the John Williams
You
Superman
talking about the
theme kicks in,
soundtrack? No, I thought
the
the soundtrack was fine. I thought the
soundtrack was fine, and it needed to be some in places. Like when they're doing exposition, there's no music, and I'm like, we need something here. Like it like got quiet and then just talk for a while, but fine. But yeah, I know. I literally, guys, I literally got out of the movie like maybe an hour ago, hour and a half. I like rushed home so I could do this.
Yeah.
It was the earliest viewing I could catch, but so I will have a critical score up 100%, but it won't be 100%. It'll be like 80 or something like that. But
Yeah,
I
no,
thought
that's all good.
I thought it was a positive movie, positive colors, which is a big thing. Because I'm so tired of the drab, realistic crap. Just give me something comic book like. And my wife pointed this out because this is the kind of things she noticed. It kind of had a 70s vibe to how everybody dressed in the movie. It was like a future 70s kind of like how everybody dressed. It kind of had this like otherworldly, like Mr. Terrific's hair doesn't look like anything anybody would wear nowadays. It
Yeah.
came off as like an alternate reality, like the future kind of stopped in the mid 70s and kept going. Like they kind of I think they had a really good setup for this comic book world. So I enjoyed it. I can turn my brain off and enjoy movies. I got to really think about it for a while. Like I enjoyed Man of Steel, aside from the Pa Kent scene that was jarring, but generally I liked that movie, but I had to sit on it and see what I thought afterwards, and by and large, just fresh out of the theater, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a fun watch. It was interesting. Like I said, Nicholas Hoult was awesome as Lex Luthor. If they can step it up, if they do a next film and a Superman 2, I hope they step it up and make him even more evil. And they kind of like just let Superman and Lex exist without all the other people around it. But anyways, yeah, no, Christopher Reeve is the man. I even grew up watching George Reeves, Superman, the old TV shows. It's a little different than that, but
Well,
I like the comic book feel, man. It was good. It was something. It was refreshing. If it wasn't perfect, it wasn't near perfect. But gosh darn it, it was a positive movie. It was something we haven't seen in a long time, and the world needs it right now. And I like that.
I think like loving Christopher Reeves and even loving the Christian Bale Batmans, they were like, you didn't have like it was basically a story of Superman being dropped into the earth and there was like nothing else, right? Yeah, this one is definitely Superman's dropped into and there's like super people all around. It definitely was not like the first 100 comic books, maybe 150, right? When everybody else shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this was. I always felt that DC will never be successful if they try to be like Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's a little more goofy in a sense. And I always felt like DC should be a little more serious, maybe a little more dark at times, like the Batman, Christian Bale's Batman. I didn't hate Man of Steel. Batman vs Superman, I didn't like that one for some reason. But and I thought that could be good. So watching the reason why I personally didn't like it, it's not like I hated it. It was just like it was too Marvel-y for me with the jokes that they were trying to land. And so with the dog just could be a little much for people. Some people might love it. I don't know, but the untrained dog that just causes problems. It's just a lot of the jokes, it's just a lot of jokes. Superman's about to die and they're still making jokes, so it's that's where I don't see a DC film like that. That's just me. Well, I know there's a lot of people that really loved it. I know my friend Yellow Flash, he loved it because he's big into I never really read DC comics that much. I was more of a Marvel person. But even when like Snyder and others were trying to compete with Marvel, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm just talking like the Thanos run, the Thanos run, I knew Marvel would work if it was a little goofier. And I think that people from DC were watching that and they were like, we need to be successful too. Maybe we need to make the tone a little more goofy. And I'm like, man, stick with what it is. And I think it'll be successful. I feel like this film needed to be like one of the best because it's kicking off this James Gunn world. You know what I mean? So I guess I went in with a little more high hopes, that I would laugh a little bit, that I would care about characters a little bit, but they never gave me time to care. That's the thing. It was like TikTok, swipe into the next thing, swipe to the next thing, swipe to the next thing, swipe to that's my opinion. So it's like I never had time for it to breathe and help me care about what was going on. The fact that the whole world turned on Superman just because they think that's what the translation of what his real parents said was very odd to me. Even though Superman was like, no, I don't think that's what they said because I couldn't get the right translation. And then Mr. Terrific's like, no, that's what they said. Just trust me, bro.
38 linguists, and they just
it was really weird. Like that
to
me was a little weird without even like asking like Superman a question. Like, is this true? And it's like, no, it's not true. I don't want to take anybody over. I don't care about that. So that's all. I just felt like this movie had to be where I was like excited for the next one. That early Marvel run, not now, but that early Marvel run, I was so excited for the next one because I wanted to know what was happening that led up to the first Avengers film, that led up to the second Avengers film. Were all those movies 100% good? No, man, some of them stunk. But I was still excited to go and see how the story was progressing all the way up to Thanos. So that's what I was hoping this was going to do to me. But knowing that Supergirl was going to be next and seeing how maybe she matures in the film, I don't know. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I will say this, even though I liked it, and a lot of people are right when they talk about it that I watched, that I listened to, up to and including you. While it's good, I don't think it got past the mark that it needed to be at for somebody that even liked it. I don't think it's going to make the money it needs to. I don't think it had enough oomph behind it. I think if they edited it down under 2 hours with some of the stuff they had in the movie, I think they could have got it there. I don't think like the Justice Gang didn't need to be in there. They were barely in there, but it's just like whenever they came in, it was like, it just felt tacked on. Like they could have made it completely a Superman movie. You get this to around an hour and 50 minutes and get out all the Justice Gang stuff and take out some of the battles. I think there's something here if it's cut down. But I think they just,
I agree. I agree. They could have made it just a standalone Superman film. I think there was a lot of things they didn't need in it. I could have done without the dog, to be honest with you, but the dog sets up the next movie. Apparently.
Yeah, and I think they did it less. Like Lois should have been the damsel in distress. She wasn't. And
she wasn't girl boss either, Chad. I want you to know. Like I didn't find, and even the girl villains, I didn't think they were like girl boss either. So none of that rubbed me like the wrong way. So
I thought the engineer was a cool. I thought
she was great.
Yeah, she was, because she wasn't ultra powerful. Like she would push herself.
No, and she was like, Lex just bossed her around. Lex, that doesn't have any powers, is like, no, you're done here. Like, get back over here and do this and whatever. But so
Yeah. I thought she was good. And they, by the way, plot hole. She's still in the bottom of that. That I was like, what happened
oh
to
yeah,
the
she's still
engineer?
there.
She's still there. She's like, her heart's still beating. They basically did an end of GI Joe the movie where it's like, oh, Duke lived. He's in a coma,
Yeah.
and they just kind of like, Bert. I think they realized they had a plot hole, but I think she's a cool villain. I like how they tried to take out Superman with nanites. Like that was I liked that a lot, where they didn't just have it be like have him fight somebody bigger like Ultraman. It was like a 1-2 punch where they kind of did that. That was very refreshing. It was very interesting. Like they because that was something they really haven't done well since like Dawn or Superman. Even Man of Steel was just like, I'm going to fight Zod. I'm going to beat the crap out of Zod. We're going to fight. You know, there was more strategy to how they were trying to take out Superman, which I thought was way more Lex Luthor like, and I liked that. Like, there's a lot to like in this movie. Honestly, does it come together? Like I said, I feels like they tacked a lot of stuff on to get it over 2 hours.
So like one of the humor, what's up, Quagmire, my brother?
Hey, hey.
One of the humor scenes in it was one of the first pictures that was ever released for Superman was him like putting on his boots, and there was like this big glowing creature in the window. And a lot of the complaints were Superman, if that was a guy attacking the I see you laughing, man. I see you. If that was a guy attacking like the city, Superman just wouldn't be wasting his time. He would be going in, to attack. So in that scene, it was the Justice Pals or whatever they were called. Like they were fighting this weird creature from another planet. And Lois Lane was like, do you need to go help them? And he's like, nah, they got it. And you see like a giant green baseball bat hitting it and like lights going. And I know that was supposed to be humorous, but it was like a serious tone. And like nobody was laughing in my theater when that was happening. So Superman literally legit looked at a monster and was like, yeah, nah, I'm it's all right. I'm gonna turn myself in because I'm a wanted man. So I'm gonna let them fight that creature, and I think they'll be fine. He's like, I'll just let them do it. So, but in the background, you see like a giant green baseball bat, and they're fighting that. You never see if they beat him. I'm assuming they do.
Towards the end, you see like a lot of it, like whatever that they call it, interdimensional imp. Like a lot of that cloud comes out right when they're about to go as more of a background for Lois and Superman, where he says, "I love you." You know,
Yeah.
It was more to set up. It was background noise for that because he had just been through the ringer with it, finding out what his Kryptonian parents said. Yeah, I would say okay. In the realm where there's okay, I saw what Wasp said.
I'm
there's
just
a way. There's
highlighting
a
people. So
oh no, it's cool.
I want them to know I'm seeing what they're saying too.
But it brings up my point. It is how do you rate? How important how good is this movie, and should you see it right away? I saw it in the theater, and then we always had this back in the day, where is it theater? Is it Blockbuster? Is it HBO? When do you go see this? And then now it's like, do you get it on? You wait till streaming. I would say I enjoyed it. I wanted to review it. I enjoyed it, but for most people, I think it's still a solid. Check it out on streaming. Not till it gets to streaming platform. I think paying for streaming. I think you got to get. I think you got to give the movie a chance. I don't think it's worth skipping past. I don't think it's so bad that it should be like forgotten. But there are some problems in the movie. But there's problems in every Superman movie. There's like, if you really look at 78 when he goes back in time, that's kind of ridiculous,
I
but
know, but I mean, I wouldn't compare it.
No, I'm just saying like some people can forgive certain beats. Like I can't forgive Paul Kent. Obviously Paul Kent dying in Man of Steel, because it's such a jarring part. The part with, I can kind of forgive stuff. Now, as we move on, the score will probably drop for me once I kind of can really take a deep breath and take in all the elements of the movie. But I thought it was a good popcorn movie at the very least, and I think it's pretty fun. But ask me again in a week or something, and I'll probably say, I'll let all the little plot points, and they might bother me more. But right out of the theater, so just finished seeing it 2 hours ago, I thought it was a fun movie, and I think it's a step in the right direction for sure. Whether or not the plot worked, whether I like how they didn't have any woke elements, I like the color grading. The soundtrack was serviceable. It was pretty good. I like where things are trending. Is it a great movie? No, I don't think it's a great movie. Nothing gets close to Dawn or Superman. That's just an unrealistic goal to hit. Anything that gets better than that is just insane. I don't think that'll ever happen, but I think it was a good movie. But that's where I stand. Like I said, 7.5 out of 10. That's a good popcorn movie score in my opinion. So
I respect that. Let's see what other people had to say. We're gonna go over to Criticless. I gave it a 39.
oh,
I gave it a 39, but the average score is 50. So there it is. So if you want to see it, I just chalked it up as if you like scrolling through TikTok, you're probably gonna love this film. And I know there's people that are gonna love it because it's a different take on Superman. You know, it just too fast. We got 35, 35.
come on, guys.
60. I'm gonna give these people a thumbs up for participating. At least a couple. I know they're not participating because I did it. We got an 89, 80. I do like the fact that we already are in a world where Superman is established. That I appreciate. So that's good. 47, 16, whew, 40. Dang.
Oh.
Superman gets beat up for the almost entire movie. Bad CGI, goofy, campy. The pace is too fast. Ultraman was weak as a villain. One of the worst movies I've seen. Whew. 59. Dang, another 0. Holy crap. Another 0. Don't waste your money.
Come on now.
This is pure garbage. Go back to the original. 29. I would like to say this was a good Superman movie. I really would. The cast was good. The visuals are fine. That's the only thing good things I have to say about it. This movie was poorly written. It's fast-tracked a majority of everything in the lore. That's why I call it TikTok, because you watch it. Does that make sense, or am I just saying something stupid? Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense what you're saying.
Just going to the next thing, man. It's like boom, 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 boom. Next thing. Like I didn't have time to breathe, you know? So I'll give a couple more. 29. There's my man, the D. I gave it a 50. The movie is a high mid. 34. There's Tom gave it an 80. Man, Tom liked it. That's cool. Decent story. If you're a fan of Gunn's previous work and the 90s Superman animated series, you shouldn't be disappointed. I never saw the 90s Superman animated series. Yeah, I did. Wait. I did that.
That was the one that looked like Batman, the animated series.
Yeah.
Came out right
I did watch some of that. That's cool that Tom liked. Tom usually doesn't like anything, so I'm kind of glad that he likes something. Dang, 0. I effing hate this. Holy crap. That's brutal. I want to. Wow. Wait, no. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Woof.
There's Jeremy, 35.
Come on, bro.
Wow.
Come on, bro.
How do I click on that?
There's no additional. That's it.
Oh, he just put the 35.
He just put the 35 and left. He had to go cover some politics, I guess.
Wow. Just gonna put follow me.
Giggity might be right. I have the attention span of a peanut, which is why I can.
That's the thing. That's why I really believe that those people will love this film. I think they will, because it's not slow. You know what I mean? Like it's really not. It goes so quick. It's almost like they took 8 episodes of a TV show and shoved them together really quickly. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like that's what I think. That's what I think. So, but he saves the squirrel. You know, the squirrel got saved.
That was nice and wholesome. Let's have more. Superman is wholesome. He grew up in the Midwest.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mo, you got to admit, you guys on critic lists are usually the minority on your reviews, kind of like Blaine's heavy metal score. Jeremy said he would do an in-depth review of Superman after he sees it a second time. I think he's on Pierce Morgan. I think he did it on Pierce
recently, I think.
Morgan. Jay's lazy at reviews. What? No, I gave a nice one. What are you talking about? Wait. Look at my review. Hold on. I went out and I I went out and did my very best. So here we go. I gave it a 39. People will agree with me or disagree with me. That's okay. Look at that. Look at this review, man. James Gunn is a flashy, fast-paced spectacle that's perfect for the TikTok generation's short attention span required. The visuals are slick, the action is relentless, and the jokes come rapid fire whether they land or not. Unfortunately, beneath the glossy CGI and quippy one-liners, there's not much substance. That's what I thought. Because I didn't have time to breathe. Oh, he says, I meant D-Day Cobra. All right. You owe me $100. If you love bright colors, which most said it was bright, right?
In a comic sense,
Mo said it was that. And don't mind a story that's about as deep as a TikTok caption. You'll probably enjoy this. For anyone else, it's fine. 5 out of 10 would scroll past again. So maybe I should move my score to 50 since I gave it a 5 out of 10. Was that better if I gave it a 5 out of 10?
Or change your score to 3.9 out of 10.
So maybe I did.
You want to do.
I did a 5 out of 10, so we'll do 50. That's like 50%. How about that? There we go. I'll update it. There we go. Well, that makes sense now. If I did a 3 out of 10, maybe that would have been better at 30, right? I'm sure people are going to be like, wait. Wow, legit a great review, Jay. Very respectful. And yeah, hey, thank you. Definitely a Gen Z movie, but I had fun. Darren absolutely hated it. Oh, I believe that. See, I knew it. 5 out of 10, but 39. That's why I changed it. I was about to post the same thing. I'm going to be like, you're correct. You are correct. And I changed it. I knew it. There we go. Again, I thank you for the 78 people here. Holy crap. Thank you guys. We're trying to get this channel monetized so we could do a ton of other stuff. Let's see. We just got out of the theater and it sounds like at least one of us will be on a similar-ish page as Mo. Really ready to talk about this one. Going live at 9. Wow, way to come in and plug. Look at that. We both got the same shirt.
Hey, nice shirt. There you go.
So Blaine liked it. Yeah, see, 39, 5 out of 10. Yeah, I changed it. All right. Is everybody J Math? I know. I know. Are you both going on Criticalist Cast? He never invites us on. I'm about to play Sea of Thieves. So, and I know Mo's on vacation.
Yep. I'm usually less than an hour away from where Blaine is. So I am going to soon. I'm going to be up there. So I'm going to hang out with him at Criticalist Cast. So, but I would definitely go check them
you
out.
can send $500 through Streamlabs. What are you talking about? It's in the pinned comment. I know you were just joking. So no, you're just joking. Blaine has bad taste. No surprise. Overall, you recommend people to give it a chance, right?
I think it's worth a chance. I'm one of these people. When I go into the theater, I can forgive a lot of stuff in the moment in the theater as long as, like you said, the crowd's good and the crowd was into it.
I wish I had an into it crowd. My review might have been different, tell you the truth. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, I like Jurassic Park better because my crowd was into that movie. Like, they were cheering and it's funny, they were cheering for the dinosaurs. And when like the Velociraptors showed up, my theater erupted. Like it was some kind of long lost celebrity back from the dead. It was crazy. Did you see Jurassic Park?
I have not seen it, but my son and my nephews did. And they're like all around 11 or 12 years old. They were like, this is amazing. This is one of the best movies I've ever seen. So it was definitely playing to the crowd that it wanted. Yeah, I would say that.
And also Jurassic World has like $150 more. Made more than Superman on its opening weekend. So we'll see what the projections, if Superman holds true over this weekend, it'll be like a $200 million movie, which Jurassic would have done 350. So yeah, look at this. My theater for Jurassic World reboot was loving it. Very responsive. Same. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't go in there expecting anything. the freaking Velociraptor showed up. I won't spoil it because Mo didn't see it. They showed up in a scene, and they were like a cameo. They weren't really in the film, and people went freaking nuts, man. Like they went nuts. I don't get it, but hey. And when the first guy got eaten up, people were cheering. It's like, I hope like the Jurassic people listen to that and go, they need a movie where the dinosaurs win, not you know what I mean? Like they need to make a movie and just get a bunch of no-name actors and maybe one star and just let the dinosaurs win and like chew everybody up. That's what they need.
I say do it Deep Blue Sea style. Put
Yeah,
one actor in, put Samuel L. Jackson like these damn dinosaurs. T-Rex eats him. You know, throw you know, Drew Barrymore and Scream. Let's get one of those where like a top actor just gets sniped. Yeah.
100%. That was the craziest death. Awful. I read that. This movie was awful, very disappointed by it. That was the craziest death I've ever seen in Deep Blue Sea when Samuel Jackson was telling that story. And he's like, we survived by doing all this. And it's like, he got everybody motivated and he freaking died. And then Samuel died in the first Jurassic Park.
You're right. But it wasn't like he wasn't established yet. He just got done terrorizing McDowell's in Coming to America.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. He wasn't even in Pulp Fiction yet. That's how he wasn't there yet. So
Clemson said the movie was awful, very disappointed. Anyway, that's it. I appreciate everyone showing up let me just check Streamlabs real quick. Appreciate Eric K, our one big donation over there. Freaking awesome. And I appreciate you guys showing up for this. Like we're going to be doing more stuff over here randomly. Just going to try to get this monetized. So we'll see. And I hope you guys like the movie. You know, people spending a lot of money on the movies. I hope whatever you go see, you enjoy. Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, I got Risk It. Decided to.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
I love that thumbnail. I was like, "Where'd you get that picture of me?" But it's perfect. It's perfect. Jose says rate Wicked. So rating has not turned on. I haven't had this. It's not turned on this channel yet. So we've got to get some watch hours and all that stuff, and they'll turn all that stuff on. So it's not on yet.
And I look forward to doing another First Shots, like getting fresh out of the movie reviews. This has been really, really fun.
Yeah, I'm going to work with Mo and be like, hey, you want to see something else? Like we can come out, or we'll talk about something that we missed. Maybe after he watches Jurassic, if he ever watched that movie, we'll do that one. So
I could. Yeah.
You know, I'm down. But God bless you guys. That's it. We're done over here. Anything else you want to say, Mo? Are you heading anywhere next? Are you still on vacation?
Oh, I'm still on vacation. I'll be back for Monday Hangover on Monday. But
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, baby. I even got my Marty McFly outfit.
I love it.
Yes. So can't wait to watch that one again. I could watch that every single time. I love it. I've sat in the DeLorean before, an actual Back to the Future on-set DeLorean. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, no, for the rest of the week, I'm just enjoying family. Honestly, I had a fun time. I can forgive a lot of stuff when I'm in the moment of the movie.
That's awesome.
It was fun watching it, and we had a blast. So that's all that really matters. Escape real world for a little while, and I did, and it was fun, and it was even more fun doing the review. So thank you, everybody. We were over 80 at some point for being here, and
incredible.
It's been fun hanging out with y'all.
Incredible. That's it. I'm hitting the red button. We'll see you next time.